It's the 411 on 93 KHJ's Island Television 10. I'm John Rayner, and this week's guest is Governor Togiola Tulafono. Governor, thank you again for joining us today. And as we get back into our discussion of the closure of the one of the major canneries on island, there is one rumor that's sort of running rampant, and our news team has been trying to get confirmation. Maybe you can confirm or deny it, but there might be some layoffs at Starkist. Have you been privy to any kind of that information?
I think it's real because I don't think there's enough things that Starkist can take away from their operation to offset the next escalation in the minimum wage. So even if they didn't announce it, I happen to believe it's, it has to be in the cards, in this round of the minimum wage escalations. We've looked at all the potential things that they can discontinue to try and save money to make up for the additional payrolls. It's just not there anymore. So I think we are bracing ourselves for potential layoffs from Starkist because we happen to feel that it's very, very real.
Okay. Now, I'm sure as governor, you probably have a lot of people that are opining and saying, oh, this is what's going to happen, and I think this, and I think that. One of those conceptions that's been going around the island since the closure of the canneries is, oh, it's a big deal, they're all foreigners, and all that money gets sent off in the form of remittances, and it's not really going to have an impact on the economy. What do you say to something like that?
Insensitive, wrong, and really lacks understanding of the economics of the foreign employees. Even though they do send a lot of remittances, they also send a lot of goods that they buy here for very practical reasons. They're cheaper. So that buying power for the local economy is going to go. I know some of them do claim, well, it doesn't matter, they don't buy cars, the big items, they don't buy homes. It's wrong. They have built homes. They have bought cars. And their contribution to the local economy is tremendous. Second to that is the fact that many of their children were born here. It's going to be an issue how to deal with those children who are U.S. nationals. We can't just very well kick them out with their parents, and we can't. We have to find the right way of taking care of those families, to make sure that those U.S. nationals are, not deprived of the rights and the benefits that they deserve of having been born here. So to say that it's not going to affect anything is just a total lack of understanding of the real, facts about, foreign employees, especially our families from Samoa.
We were talking about tourism earlier, and that was one of the three ways that you wanted to stimulate the economy with the closure of the canneries. And one question that could be asked was, has ASG considered legalizing gambling as means to bring in more tourists? It's done wonders for places like Cuba and whatnot. Have you considered something like that? It's
not on my slate anyways, and I've looked into gambling as a potential. The problem is, you now have gambling in the Pacific, where there's more access. New Zealand, Australia, I think New Caledonia, Vanuatu. You have gambling in California, and so the question is, why would they want to come this far to do this? They had some in CNMI, very unsuccessful. And I've looked at that when the last time I was on CNMI, and they had a huge facility and hardly anybody, no tourists, and they prohibit locals. So there is no support for the industry. And second to that, gambling does not go hand in hand with high-end tourism. Usually the studies show that these folks do not want gambling, and they're also, their preference is not to see gambling. And so we have to kind of look at this very, very carefully. But no, the short answer to your question is it's not in my radar.
Okay. All right. And that concludes this particular segment. We still have one more with Governor Togiola Tulafono, who's this week's guest on the 411. Stay with us.